hey, the things that happen when you work with your sister, you guys can fight it out and then still be best friends after.
Truly
You
not.
can't always do that with people you don't love as much as you love your sister. Yeah. Okay. So starting young, was in music for forever. All of my sisters played violin, um, and hearing it was String Academy. They always had like master classes or honors recitals or benefit concerts, so concerts that we would go to and see other more advanced students play. And there was a guy playing the cello. I think he was like a high school student, and it was so beautiful. The sound, literally, it just spoke to me, like the sound of the cello, the low notes. And I turned to my dad and I was like, I want to play the cello. And I begged and begged for cello for like a good 2 years before they actually let me switch over. I was not a violinist. Shanti will attest to that.
So scrunchy.
I was okay. I was very basic.
Yeah.
I was not a good violinist because it didn't speak to me like the cello did. Like the second I switched, like learning, it was so fast. My teacher was like, you're just flying through the books because I loved it. It was like something you actually enjoy doing.
Our whole lives growing up, we've been like the Ross sisters, or before our first band with our other two sisters growing up, that was Sisters of Praise, and you spelled praise with a Z.
Giant
okay
Z.
A huge Z. Yeah. So Sisters of Praise happened first, and that was something that, like, because we were all in lessons and we started playing. And
our mom was our manager. She was like a beastie momager.
Just as all in the same clothes. We played in nursing homes and schools and churches, detention centers.
Business parties. We did a lot of business parties as well.
Yeah. So when I came back from college, folks were used to the Ross girls playing at some point, but it was just the two of us then. And so we decided after, it was the first Femme Fest that was going on. Our really good friend, Johanna Rose, who also was a sound engineer for this project. She and some other friends started Femme Fest, and they invited us, SistaStrings, to come play it. It was our very first set of playing that wasn't like a corporate event or a party or like background music.
It was a bar.
It was a bar. Yeah. It was a bar with a bunch of like, partying young people in there. And so we were like, oh my gosh, like the band before us was like a rock band or something. And after us was like another rock band. And then here come these two string girls. So around that time, and then we started gigging with other local musicians and whatnot. We were like, we should slap a name on this. I was like, SistaStrings.
It was like three other things. SistaStrings. We were like, SistaStrings!
Just growing up how we did, there was always some sort of not that I didn't feel like I didn't fit. I just always knew, I was always just very aware, and folks always let me be very aware that I wasn't quite fitting into the mold of what was happening there. So if we were just hanging out with the kids in the neighborhood on the north side of Milwaukee, the fact that I didn't know how to jump double dutch was a huge problem, you know? So you're not quite as Black as the next little girl who's gonna be jumping all over the place, doing amazing. Or if you're at the String Academy, and most of my colleagues there were either white or Asian, majority, right? So then I'm feeling a lot quieter. I was just loud, like crazy little.
We were the loudest ones in the music school. That was clear.
Little Very kid, clear. And even the way I relate to music and how I get passionate about it, or how I learned, was the styling was very different. So I was really grateful to have educators who were able to see that and be able to bring things to me in a way that helped me understand and learn. So that was the first thing that popped into my mind. But I think in writing this song and doing the project, it really, the sound, right? So I just kept thinking of like the sound of those people telling me that, not that you're not enough, but tone it down or bring it up, or, wear all Black instead of that bright, shiny thing that you want to wear for the concert or anything like that. Just kind of like, just hearing that sound is like, all the time, that was the most irritating thing to me. So that kind of like fed into this whole larger spectrum of feeling like you know what, I'm hearing all this against me, and that can be in society, that can be at work, that can be the way you make music, anything. So I had watched this one movie on Netflix, and I forget the name of it. But it was puppets was the main character, were the main character, and they were the other. The puppets were. I mean, pretty much it was like this huge metaphor. The puppets were Black people. And so, but the way that it was just like, it was not explained or anything. You could just tell from like what was happening and what was around. And it was like really cool. And it was like fun to look at, but it was like a serious message, but the way it was ingested was a little bit sweeter or more just like interesting, I felt like, because of the puppets. And this was like a month or two before we'd even talked. And then we were talking, and I was like, it's like puppets. I want like some very chic puppets because, you know, everything has to be fab. What color do you want the skin to be at? Like these different, like the purple, the pink, or whatever, or do you want the skin to be brown? And I'm like, I mean, I think I'm Black all the time, and everything, it kind of just feeds out that way, regardless. But I was like, it would be fun to be like, you know, purple, and this alter ego or person that has like none of these stereotypes on them. That's a little bit more freer. So I kind of think of like the puppet in that kind of sense.
With the change that we were talking about of like trying to adjust yourself to tone it down or do all kind of stuff, it's like being a puppet master, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's like dance for me this way, play for me this way, speak this way when you're here, you know? So it's like the puppet master kind of it all as well, which
that's good, Mom.
I've always wanted to work with the choir. I love harmony parts, and I guess a little bit of my boss Ross comes out with being like, no, sing this rhyme. It's so fun for me. Geez, what did we have? We had a trio growing up. Unity was our name. UNI.
Oh yeah, vocal trio.
TEE. And it was me and Shanti and our best friend Amberlay. Always, Unity. And we did a cappella trio arrangements, which was so fun. And we came up with a lot of really awesome arrangements. And we haven't really done anything like that since. Like SistaStrings, we don't sing 3 parts at one time. So having like that third, or even having a 4th part, or having the full voices and having the lows, oh my, just a dream. Just a dream.